Hi, welcome back to another edition of Notre Dame NDLaxTV. We appreciate your support and great feedback of ideas and suggestions for future videos, and we hope to get them produced here this fall or spring. But again, great feedback, and thank you for your support. Today we're going to talk about kind of an on-ball, off-ball drill that's a derivative of a drill that we've already produced called 32 lunch pail, which has 3 offensive players and 2 defensive players. This drill is a 4v4 drill, and sometimes we'll have this at an end of the field, but as you know from our previous defensive videos, we're often kind of limited in the middle of the field from the top of the box of the 2 ends of the field. So we use the space that we have, and I really encourage you as a high school or youth coach to use the space you have. Don't use what you don't have as a limitation. So we use oftentimes the middle of the field between the 2 boxes. We'll designate where the goal is. There's no goalie in this drill, and there's 4 offensive players. These are the defensemen who are not circled. We have an on-ball defenseman and then 3 off-ball defenders. And what we're trying to do in this drill is really practice the situations and scenarios our defenseman will be in off-ball. Obviously on-ball, we may tell the defenseman who's playing the role of the offensive player, hey, do some swims, do some splits, do some walk the dogs, do some hitches, so he gets some practice making approaches to those kinds of dodges. But predominantly this drill is for the off-ball defenders to make some decisions. So for example, and you'll see this on the video of this, is that this guy sweeps, this guy may fade, so we get practice and reacting to a fade. He may fade a little bit and come back and set a pick, so we get practice and using the language and defending a pick. We may have a situation where these 2 guys exchange, these 2 offensive players exchange. We may have a situation where we have this guy, down screen. Let me clean this up here. This defender may come down and make a down screen, and this guy pops, almost like a mumbo action. But we'll have this repetition go for 20 or 30 seconds because we want to get practice for all of our off-ball defenders in the variety of situations they see, and really the most common offenses or actions that we see the most. So you'll see it a little bit better in the video. We're going to practice on ball, we're going to practice off ball, we're going to practice the language, whether it's a mumbo or a switch or a get through, whatever the scenario is created. Because I'm not going to proscribe what the situation is. It's going to happen naturally, but our defensemen know what the hardest things that are to defend that we see against the best teams that we play. So let's go to the coaching points. Like I reiterated, we're going to practice our on-ball and off-ball stance, our language, and the scenarios and the situations that they'll be in the most and that are the hardest to defend. We're going to practice the language within that action that's very particular to our team. I'm not going to tell you what that is because each one of your teams have their own language. So it's a great opportunity to reinforce and practice in a really non-threatening environment where they're going to get the reps, and it's going to kind of not be as stressful as a real game situation, but it's going to put them in scenarios that are really relevant that they're going to see the most. We're going to work on our slide angles and the decisions to make slides, because I'm going to tell the players and the on-ball defensemen to make some mistakes in there to see if their off-ball teammates are ready to make the right decision. And again, you hear us talk about a lot, we practice the action within the action. Yes, we work on a lot of 6-on-6 and a lot of 4-on-4, but the action within the action, whether it's sweeps and fades and 2-man or mumbos or set plays coming off of the end line, we want to kind of mimic them in our drills so that when they get to a game situation and they see A and B happen, they feel really good about predicting whether C and D is going to happen next. So again, I think you're really going to like 44 lunch pail because it gets down to real game situations. And if you pay attention to the way the defensemen are playing offense in the drill, you'll learn how we try to get better in these scenarios. And what I did mention is that often having your defensemen play offense will give them a sensitivity and an insight and an IQ so that when they get in a game situation against real offensive players, they're really further along. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following us on all the different social media. And thank you for support for Notre Dame Lacrosse.